Hey, how's it going, people? I'm here to introduce you to a series with action, adventure, drama, comedy, and much more. Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir. Well, actually, I'm here to air a grievance. Spoilers will be shown up to Season 5, including Miraculous World Paris and Miraculous World London. Nothing will be commented on after that, so nothing will be mentioned about Season 6. Let's get started. Before I begin, I must admit that Miraculous Ladybug is a quite elaborate series with a very interesting plot and developed in a very captivating way. It is for that very reason that it is worth complaining about the details or flaws it might have. Leave in the comments if you agree or if you would have done it differently.
Listen, you still have one last chance before you do something irredeemable. Like any other akumatized villain, once you transform back, you'll forget everything you've seen.
According to Miraculous World London, once you transform back you'll forget everything you've seen. From the very first episode, the akumatized villains are left confused without knowing exactly what has happened, which looks pretty good considering that the evil being they had in them is gone. The fact that they forget what happened made sense in almost all cases as they were being manipulated to be villains. However, it did not fit in other cases where the villain was not being manipulated or it didn't make sense to forget. Simply put, the fact that inevitably forgetting is a fixed rule is a complete nonsense that has been forced into Miraculous World London just to fit with story development.
Sorry, Timmy. According to the rules,
Once you transform back, you'll forget everything you've seen.
Let's look at a few instances in the series where this rule doesn't fit. Truth. Okay, Truth does seem to forget everything when he is deakumatized, but why would he agree to get akumatized if he knows he's going to forget everything? The whole point in getting akumatized is to know and remember Marinette's secret. Is Luca trusting Shadowmoth will tell him everything after the fight?
who is my father?
Your father is Jagged Stone.
I want the truth. Who is really my father?
Jagged Stone.
By the way, if he doesn't remember, who tells Luca who his father is? Luca discovers that Jagged Stone is his father while he is akumatized, so he should forget. Who reminds him of that afterwards? Does he remember?
Fly, my Kamiko, and magnify the glimmer of hope that shines in Alia Sasayer's heart. Ubiquity.
Ubiquity. I don't know if ubiquity technically counts as akumatized or as someone who was under the influence of an akumatized person, since the Alia from this world wasn't directly akumatized, but transformed by the Alia from the other world, but I'll put her on the list anyway. Alia, before transforming, has never gotten to see Betterfly. She transforms before Betterfly arrives and transforms back when he is gone.
Marinette? What just happened? You transformed into...
Ubiquity. I release you from the power I gave you.
Even so, it is clear that Alia is referring to Betterfly when she is talking to Marinette about a supervillain in the phone call.
Marinette, did you get away from that supervillain?
I think he's a holder of the Miraculous of the Butterfly, Alia.
I can assure you that she will not be enjoying any glasses of...
Ikari Gozen.
Ikari Dozen and Matagi Guzen. Okay, the first Ikari Guzen we see was just a mentally manipulated villain, so it makes sense that she doesn't remember. This is not the case, nonetheless, with the second Ikari Guzen in multiplication. She performs secretly as an ally of Monarch so she knows the prototype has worked perfectly.
Tsurugi-san.
The prototype works perfectly.
In every way.
Okay, maybe you could justify that by arguing that she was asked by Ladybug whether she had the miraculous of the mouse, and that she might have guessed with that, but, come on, it's clear she is well aware of what happened.
Mrs. Tsurugi, can you check whether you have a Miraculous with you?
I don't have anything like it with me.
Matagi Gozen.
The same goes for the third one, Matagi Guzen. Is it enough what Gabriel Agris says for Miss Tsurugi to know how the events took place?
How could we fail? Our plan was perfect.
It was your pretension that was our undoing, Tsurugi-san.
How dare you?
Despite what you claimed, your daughter is not under your control. She's the reason we failed.
Not only that, she seems to have enjoyed getting akumatized. Look how she asks for it. She is craving an Akuma.
Akumatize me!
Your wish is my command, Tsurugi-san.
But my own daughter? Akumatize me!
No. Volpina.
Volpina. There is no absolute proof to show that Volpina remembers in Harrow's Day, but it certainly seems that way. Just watch the look on her face when she knows that her plan has turned out as she expected.
I'll be waiting, Hot One.
She can't be the only one in Paris who doesn't know what supposedly happened to Ladybug and Cat Noir, referring to the illusion she created herself.
The enemies of my friends are my enemies. Hoaxer.
Hoaxer. The same can be seen with Hoaxer. It is true that without remembering she could also have completed the plan, but it certainly does not seem to be the case. By the look in her face in the instant she is deacumatized, she seems to know that everything went well.
Juleka! Juleka, talk to me! Juleka!
Reflecta.
Reflecta. In the episode Guilt Trip, Juleka gets acumatized in Reflecta once again, and also receives an amok that goes into her cell phone. Right before she enters the Centimonster, she drops the cell phone into the trash can.
The first to plead guilty is me.
After Juleka is deacumatized, Ladybug and Cat Noir ask her where the object with the amok is.
Quick, where's the object the amok went into? You know, Shadowmoth's feather.
Trash? You threw it in the trash?
Juleka remembers that her phone is in the trash, even though she threw it after she got acumatized.
Got it. You're too perfect.
Riposte Prime.
Riposte Prime. After the battle against the heroes, you can clearly see that Kagami is fully aware of the fight that has just taken place and its consequences.
What happened to you, Kagami?
Please forgive me, Marinette. Even though you lied to me and manipulated me, that did not give me the right to attack you like I did.
Huh?
Miss Sans-Culotte.
Miss Sans-Culotte. Yet another example of an acumatized villain who was convinced rather than manipulated and, as a result, remembers what happened once she rejects the Akuma.
By the powers vested in me, I now reinstate you to your position.
Sometimes a revolution can also be won with words.
Giselle!
Found it!
And now I can use a new Akuma to make your powers even stronger, my queen. Miracle Queen.
Miracle Queen. Here we are, another case where the villain is convinced rather than mentally manipulated.
All I ask for in return is...
Cat Noir and Ladybug's miraculous. You shall have them.
Miracle Queen, who was on Hawkmoth's side from before, seems to be the same person when she is acumatized and when she is not. The moment she is deacumatized, without wondering where she is or what has happened, she goes back to trying to retrieve the Akuma. Does she want to forget again? It is even clearer when she blames Ladybug for having chosen such ridiculous holders.
Without you and your ridiculous, poorly chosen friends! Utterly poorly chosen!
She may be an excellent detective, knowing how to judge what has happened, or perhaps she remembers?
Catalyst.
Catalyst. We are now entering the realm of the more obvious cases. She uses her power on Hawkmoth and turns him into Scarlet Moth, and then is forced to undo the acumatization to become Mayura. How does she know what to do? Is Mayura still acumatized?
I'll handle it.
Lady Ubiquity. Just in case, you can't justify it by saying it was a Kumiko and not an Akuma. It is the same thing with another name. Lady Ubiquity has multiple battles against Monarch possessing the other world's marionettes, battles that she shouldn't be able to remember.
Monarch won't be going to any other world other than this one anytime soon.
Of course, you know that because you've written it down in a notebook, right? Lady Ubiquity could have failed miserably without Ladybug knowing it.
Queen Banana.
Queen Banana. In this episode we see Vesperia for the first time, the new holder of the Bee Miraculous.
Queen Bee?
No, my name's Vesperia!
When Chloe is deacumatized, not only she is not impressed of seeing Vesperia, but she also knows her name, which was only mentioned while she was still Queen Banana.
I hate you, Ladybug! And you, Vesperia! You're only a fake version of Queen Bee!
Pharaoh.
Pharaoh. Pharaoh, far from being forced to get acumatized, requests that Monarch provides him with powers in order to find his sister. Like the other cases, it would not be natural to forget things like any other filler victim who is confused and not entirely aware of his actions since he is in full use of his mental faculties. We can clearly see that he is consulting the Book of Truth for information. Information for an akumatized person that is going to forget everything?
Book of Truth! Is Ladybug really the heroine she claims to be? Did Alex really leave of her own free will to help Ladybug?
No. No!
True.
Monarch, you lied to me! Take back your blasted powers!
I'm sorry I doubted you, Ladybug. It wasn't Alex who got duped, it was me. By all that social media. And Monarch.
Of course he remembers. He has received superpowers, not electroconvulsive therapy.
There's got to be an explanation, Nino. We'll work it all out.
Rocketeer.
Rocketeer. The Lucky Charm is directly an object that gives information, just like Rena Furtive's illusion. Information for an akumatized person that is going to forget everything?
Are you insane? I already have a boyfriend, and FYI, with him, it's not just... It's more like...
I can't believe I ever doubted you.
The fact that he forgets wouldn't make sense for the plot, and that's why he doesn't forget.
I'll never let Shadow Moth use my love to manipulate me again. I guess I was wrong about you, my dude. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Queen Mayor.
Queen Mayor. Firstly, Chloe accepts the Akuma without complaint, which would be strange unless she wants to erase her entire mandate from her memory. Furthermore, hours and even days of being Queen Mayor go by and, when she is finally defeated, she remembers perfectly well what situation she is in. In fact, the Parisians, along with Ladybug and Cat Noir, would have no reason to be angry with her at the end of the battle if she didn't know the atrocities she's done. Still not convinced? Check this out.
Ah, Du Penchang. My turn to tell you a secret.
No, not now, Chloe.
I've changed my mind. I'll tell you later. Revenge is a pastry best served cold, right, Baker Girl?
Watch it, Chloe. I'm not in the mood.
Good! Remember the secret I wanted to tell you? Well, guess what? Adrian's moving to London.
Chloe remembers what she said to Marinette while she was akumatized. In conclusion, in my opinion, the most logical thing would be for a side effect of the akumatized villains to be that they sometimes don't remember what happened very well, due to the hangover of having been manipulated into doing evil deeds.
Yeah, but I don't remember much.
However, I don't see much sense in all the villains being forced to forget, especially if they have agreed to transform while in full possession of their mental faculties. Perhaps that was the creator's intention, except they had to poorly readjust it in order to develop the plot of Miraculous World London. Feel free to comment your ideas, whether you agree or disagree with my picks. Have a nice day.